Good morning, Copers. We are back. It is Tuesday. It is April 1st. I'm sure you're all on the edges of your seat to know what kind of funny prank I'm going to play, what kind of funny joke I got lined up for you guys. Well, the answer is no, nothing. I have no joke. I have no prank. All of my best ideas were rejected at the ballot box. For example, I asked Allison to start the show. She should have been sitting here, turns on the camera. Good morning, Copers. Bad news. As you know, it was our son's birthday yesterday, and Lyndon likes, when we're celebrating, to get into the White Claws, and he got a little bit too much into the White Claws. And then he choked on his Dairy Queen ice cream cake, and we had to rush him to the hospital, and he's in a coma now, so there's no show. I'm sorry. And then I would have walked in frame and been like, ha ha, April Fools, motherfuckers. But Allison is too shy. She's too shy to do that, so we didn't do that. Another idea I had, but this one I didn't roll with because I'm too good to you guys. I wouldn't want to upset you. Although it would have been very funny to me, was that for the intro music for the show today, I was going to play Pharoah Sanders, The Creator Has a Master Plan, which is a 32-minute progressive jazz song. And as part of the joke, I was going to like have the timer set to 3 minutes, but it just keeps resetting every time it counts down to 0. It just goes back like 12 times in a row or whatever. I can't do the math. 11 times, I guess. Mensa math. Thanks for doing a Wednesday stream. I don't know why that didn't play. First of all, where's Vampire Frog? We got a power chat situation, first of all. Second of all, I don't know what you're talking about. It's Tuesday and have no plans to stream tomorrow, but thank you for that. So you guys know this one? So I'll give you a little sample. I'll give you a little sample of how it would have gone. About showing you guys the sample, I thought to myself, that would be funny if I said I'm just going to give them a little taste. And then I played the whole 32-minute song, like right now. But I keep saying, every like few minutes, I just keep saying, like, just so you guys get an idea. And then it just keeps going and going and going. These are the kind of things I would do if I didn't care about chasing you all off, because just to give you a little more of a taste of where this song goes. Like 32 minutes of this. So those are my April Fool's jokes ideas, but I couldn't run with any of them, unfortunately. Moving on. This guy ratioed the shit out of the IDF on Twitter. So the IDF were like, we thought we'd also hop on the Ghibli trend, and they post, Ghibli IDF memes. And this guy says more like, and he shows them like pointing their guns at a family of women and children. And he got 54,000 likes to their 19,000 likes. The noticing will continue until morale improves. All right, Conor McGregor posted this video today. Let's take a look here.
How long have you been here in Ireland for?
9 months ago.
9 months. What country are you from?
I come from Jordan, but I'm from Syria.
And how are you being received here in Ireland?
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice for me, because I come in from Jordan and from Syria before. I come, there, everything not good.
What makes so many migrants want to come here to Ireland?
How I come to Ireland?
Yeah.
From UN.
And how come you wanted to come to Ireland?
I ask, okay.
From UN.
When call me somebody from UN, he tell me, can you go to Sweden, to Germany, to 5 countries maybe. But I know my friends here in Ireland.
So the UN calls this guy up and gives him like a smorgasbord of European countries to choose from. Where would you like to go? Germany, Sweden, And this guy decided Ireland.
Very good, everything in Ireland. I'm Muslim. Here, no problem. Here, no having same another country. You Arabic, not Irish. Okay. I live here with everyone.
Where do you live? Do you have house or do you stay in the hotel?
No, I'm in Iraq Center now. But maybe after 1 month, I'll go to a new home from County Council.
Okay.
So 1 month in the immigrant center, and then the council will give me a house.
So does Ireland give you any money every month?
Yeah,
How much money do they give you?
every month. Every week, I'm married. I have 3 daughters, my children. I take same 500 euro in 1 week.
So every
500 euros a week, and the guy's also too low IQ to be able to do the math in his head on what that works out to per month. He's like, oh man, I know they give me 500 euros per week. Per month, I don't know, man. It's 500 per week.
week the Ireland government gives you $500.
Yeah.
And you, where are you from?
Sorry, I don't.
500 euros. What's euro to USD? It's just slightly more.
Speak English.
He coming with me.
How many people came with you to Ireland?
For me,
2,000 a month and a free house, and they pay your travel costs to come, and it's all done through the UN.
100%.
How many family or friends came with you to Ireland?
With me coming, no, 9, 10, 9.
9 people came with you to here to Ireland.
9 families, but after me coming also maybe 30 families from Jordan, yeah, and Lebanese.
Oh, 30 more families. How did you get here to Ireland? Did you come through Belfast from Northern Ireland?
No. I come direct from Jordan to here.
How long do you...
Direct from Jordan. Oh man, it pisses me off so much. And you know whose fault this is? It's the Jews, you guys. That you're not... Okay, Jordan, first of all, the idea that there's a humanitarian crisis in Jordan is extremely dubious to begin with. Even Syria, any of these places, it's like it's not that bad. It's not as bad as they want you to believe when they show you just their cherry-picked, poverty porn images. But the only reason you can even try to make a case that there's a problem in Jordan is because of the instability caused by Israel and the Jews and Israel being there. So they cause all the wars and conflict, or even if you want to argue they don't cause it, it happens because they're there. Okay? That you can't argue against that. And so then they're refugees, and all of the options to go to are all European countries, which all have extremely generous benefits programs for these people who will never work. They did a study on the Syrian refugees in Canada 10 years later. 10 years later, it was like 97% of them were still on welfare. 10 years after coming to Canada. They never work. And Conor McGregor says, I do not blame these people nor have any hatred towards them. Bar those radicalized, deranged, and dangerous, it is the despicable Irish government and its ridiculous systems against the Irish people that I will take down here. There's zero incentive for them to work. That's unsustainable. Yeah, but they're here because of the money. Like, you should, Connor, you should blame them and you should hate them because they are parasites. They are scammers, and they think it's hilarious that they can take advantage. They hate you, first of all. They hate you because you're white. They hate you because they blame you for colonizing the world and fucking up all the non-white countries. And they think it's hilarious that they can just come and live off you like a parrot. So why would you not blame them or have hatred towards them? When this guy, like, he does his interview, he's like, oh, it's great in Ireland. Everyone's really nice and they're so generous and that. He goes home and he talks to his Muslim friends. He's like, can you believe these fucking suckers, man? Can you believe they're giving us all this shit? You cannot blame these people for, I mean, I disagree. I have plenty of blame to go around. They're not refugees. They're not fleeing for their lives. Well, you can't blame them for wanting a better life. You want a better life, but you don't get to come fucking here. Where can I go, man? Where can I go and they'll give me a free house and pay for me to raise my kids and I don't have to work? What are my options for that? Rabbi tells Senate hearing on anti-Semitism that it's not enough to not be anti-Semitic. One must be anti-Semitic.
Anti-Semitism is not just an age-old prejudice. It is a contemporary crisis manifesting on campuses across the nation. It is not enough for individuals or institutions to merely claim they are not anti-Semitic. As my father once taught me, it is not enough for people, especially public figures, to be neutral or not be anti-Semitic. One must be anti-Semitic.
You can't blame them for coming. It's like saying you can't blame a tick for burrowing into your arm and sucking your blood, or you can't blame a mosquito for sucking your blood because it's just trying to survive. If your survival requires my sustenance, then yes, I blame you. I blame you for needing to suck my blood to live. And I'm going to kill you. I'm talking about the mosquitoes here, okay? I'm going to kill any mosquito tries to take my blood. I'm killing them.
We must demand the same of our universities and government institutions. This hearing, in my opinion, is an attempt to be just that. Anti-Semitic.
Rabbi Shmetov. So this is once again, the Senate hearing on anti-Semitism, which very important hearing. Glad we're tackling the real issues. Matt Wall says this is a page right out of the BLM playbook. The same rhetoric, almost word for word. Oh shit, Matt, you can't just go noticing things. You're going to freak out the anti-woke right crowd. You're going to freak out Matt Walsh. You're going to freak out James Lindsay and Konstantin Kisin. They're worried you're going to leave the Daily Wire. Now you're posting about the anti-Semitism grift. You know who's not super happy about that? Joel Berry. Joel Berry says perhaps the same rhetoric, but a completely different meaning. For BLM, anti-racism wasn't about being actively against racism. It represented a full-blown color revolution designed to dismantle Western civilization and institute racist DEI policies. That's not what the rabbi is calling for here. So it's 2025 and we're still doing this. We're still doing this like Democrats are the real racists, but those of us who clutch our pearls about anti-Semitism, we're the good kind of anti-race, because racism really is bad. It's just that the Democrats aren't. It's not that they're anti-racist and that's what makes them horrible people and destructive to civilization. It's that they're not doing anti-racism correctly. Real anti-racism has never been tried, actually. Look at this shit. It's good to be against racism. The left took being against racism and redefined it to mean dismantle capitalism, destroy Christianity, and throw out all standards of that. Guess what? That's where it leads to. That's not a mistake. That's a feature, not a bug. That's what anti-racism is, anti-Christianity and anti-human decency and anti-civilization. Do you know why? Do you know why it is those things? Because it's anti-white. And Christianity is the white man's religion. Yes, others are welcome, but it wouldn't be the dominant religion in the world if it wasn't for the white man. Civilization is the white man's gift to the world. So anti-racism is anti-white. Anti-Semitism, conversely, is pro-white. Actually, that's actually pro-white. And here's the thing. Wait, going back to the Matt Walsh tweet here. People were posting about the connection between, there's Nick, he says, damn, that's crazy. Maybe you should stop working for them. And here's where you're not going to get from Joel Berry, where you're not going to hear from Joel Berry when he's telling you how BLM hates Western civilization, but Jews don't. What he won't tell you is that Jews were the puppet masters behind the entire BLM movement the whole time. Anomaly says, do you know who organized and recruited Patrice Cullors, founder of BLM, to left-wing activism? It's this guy.
How did you get started?
Well, I come out of a Jewish, socialist, somewhat anti-communist tradition. Not me, but that's what I come out of. Very strong anti-fascist. It's a joke, but I say that the fascist bastards were the first words that came out of my mouth because that's all I kept hearing about fascists and Jews and genocide. And I'm very proud of my parents for not, at 5 years old, I was thinking about people starving in Europe. Yeah. I didn't know what Europe was. And there's a world made up of Goyim who attack us.
Yeah, when he says people starving in Europe, he means Jews being mistreated in Europe. That's what he means. He's not worried about the Goyim. The Goyim are the bad guy.
Put us in concentration camps, and we got to fight them. That was the main point. My mom said, stand up to those anti-Semites. Don't let them push us around. So then when I met the black movement, I said, oh, I thought Jews were assertive. Wait till I saw this is the ultimate assertion, the ultimate anger, and what I didn't get before was a revolutionary theory of change. So when I joined the movement, it was all about, do you know about Africa? No. And then we're part of the Indians. What are the Indians? Oh, yeah, and this country is wrong. This country is fundamentally wrong. It's built on the wrong foundations, built on genocide. So I didn't come up with the word. I said, wait, genocide, just like what happened. Oh, I remember genocide. That's what my parents taught me about. So quickly I got it. Jews, blacks, Native Americans, the world, people starving. And if you know, King went to divinity school. He's Doctor of Divinity. He studied Marx, Niebuhr, Martin Buber.
King's theology was absolutely awful, by the way. They have like a 2-part Stone Choir episode about that.
The black movement was very philosophical and very worldview oriented.
And also King's grammar was like terrible, and most of his shit was written by Jews, but you could tell the stuff that was written by him because his like his grammar was so bad. The idea that he's some kind of like philosophical intellectual is actually really funny if you've read King's shit.
So that's what I teach at the Strategy Center. We're trying to change the world, whether we're on buses.
So it is the same thing. It's the same thing, man. Anti-racism, anti-Semitism, same people, same things, same theories, all the same.
How did you get?
And so this is why I, when I see somebody who pretends to be right wing and they say it's good to be against racism, I just roll my eyes so fucking hard because when you are getting red pilled, when you're going through the red pill process of understanding how the world works, there's a certain hang up you have to get over, a certain hurdle you have to pass to keep going and actually figure out how the world works. And that hurdle is the idea that you're a good person because you're not racist. And some people like Joel Berry, are incapable of ever going over that hurdle. And so they're incapable of ever getting to the truth. They're of the real truth, the real heart of the matter. That's why the video I mentioned yesterday, my video from 2 years ago on locals that I was saying yesterday aged really well. It was called like Con Inc. and the J, it's called Censorship, Con Inc. and the JQ. And then in parentheses, or reality is racist, right? So reality is racist. So when you say it's good to be against racism, you're saying it's good to be against reality, and you're never going to make it. You're just never going to make it because you're detached. And the whole reason you're detached is because of this hang up of like, no, I'm a good person. Racism is bad and mean, but I'm not bad. I'm good. Some people just never get past that. I thought there was another. Oh, here's Joel Berry. Same thing. No, it's different. It's different when Jews do it. It's not like when BLM dude, it's Jews both times. It's Jews when it's Jews, and it's Jews when it's BLM. Anyway, I thought there was like another video I wanted to watch, but I don't see it now. All right. Moving on. Yeah, we need a Joel Berry sounder. Actually, I think Bliss Chillin might have tried to make something already. And so I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, they're getting so desperate because they know they're losing. This is why the kvetching from the James Lindsay and Constantine Kiss, it's reaching like a fevered pitch because they know how badly they're losing. And if you want an idea, look at this Instagram video here. They lost TikTok, right?
Hails, brother. I commend your use of the essential term, anti-what. Cheers.
Thank you, Westernkind UT. I don't know why it's always the Japanese. There's supposed to be like 5 or 6 different voices that it like randomly rotates through, but it feels like it's always the Japanese guy. But thank you for that. They were getting their shit kicked in on TikTok. And so they did this kind of hostile takeover of TikTok, which they were able to do through the government because TikTok is owned by China. But what's happened is the noticing is spreading to all these other platforms, right? It's all over X. It's all over Instagram. Like I just showed you the IDF getting ratioed like 6-1. Here's an Instagram video of a Jew in Auschwitz, and you see the comments here. Like, look at this. Wasn't 6 million button, 15,000 likes. 15,000 people hit like to say it wasn't 6 million. And there's like Nick Fuentes clips that are going super viral on Instagram that have like 600,000 likes and shit like that. It's crazy, man.
Here in Auschwitz 1, next to the gas chamber and the crematorium with the
chimney was added after World War II. There's photos to confirm this. 16,000 likes.
Chimney. And just behind me,
I got thrown out of 109 bars. I don't know why. 7.5K.
Here, you can see the house.
Show them the swimming pool and movie theater. 18,000 likes.
Commandant of Auschwitz, Rudolf Hess, the villa. Every day, he would close his briefcase. He would go home, he would play with his kids. His house, just over there. Whilst opposite his house.
I no longer believe this. That was from a verified Instagram account, by the way. Dominique Izzo. Bro, give it up. No one believes it anymore.
Whilst opposite his house, there was a chimney where Jews and others who had been murdered, who had been gassed, were burning. Here in Auschwitz.
So You're gonna see you're gonna see disenfranchised liberals like James Lindsay and Konstantin Kisin and who else is in that club? Chris Rufo to a slightly lesser degree. You're going to see the calls for censorship from those people reaching a absolute fevered pitch over the next few months. Yeah, I mean, Joel Berry, obviously. Okay, Netflix's Adolescence is now streaming for free in secondary schools, which is like high schools, I think, in English, in American English. Have you guys watched this show? I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it. A lot of people have been talking about it. I did cover sort of the race swapping aspect of it already on the show, but now they're like, it's being highly acclaimed as like this really good show, and they're going to start showing it to high school students. I haven't watched it, so I don't have an opinion on it. I'd like to watch it, just because I don't know, man. I'm open-minded to the idea that it could be a good show. There's that English movie called This Is England, which is like about racism, basically. It's kind of like an anti-extremist, but it's like a good movie. I recommend it to people. Same way I like Swing Kids, Just because something has like an anti-racist theme doesn't necessarily mean it's bad to me, but I haven't watched it, so I don't know. Have you guys watched it? The Adolescence thing? Anyway, this is like Keir Starmer, Prime Minister.
Nice to see you. How are you? Good to see you.
Meeting with the people who made the show.
Good.
Thank you for having us.
No, very good. You know what it's like on the inside. Most people don't. They sort of think it's going to be small.
Stephen Graham is the dad. Is that the guy who played Combo? That's got to be, right? He is such a good actor, man. Yeah, Combo from This Is England. Like, dude, I get it. Anti-white propaganda, woke like whatever. I'm telling you, man, the This Is England TV show is like the best acting I've ever seen in my life. And this guy is great in it. There it is right there.
And then it's always much bigger, but come on in. Come on in.
To it.
Beautiful day as well, really incredible.
Sun's come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, it's great. Come on in.
We've got a big crowd coming in.
We have. And so this is the sort of famous, just behind the door, we've got the portrait of the Queen here.
Yeah, I've never watched Romper Stomper. I need to watch that one. I don't know why I keep forgetting to watch it. I gotta add it to my list. That's like Mads Mikkelsen or whatever his name is, right? What's his name? Wilkinson? Mads Wilkinson? I like that guy. Been a big fan ever since I played Death Stranding. Lame. This is like, it's so lame. Anyway, Cauldron Pool says one stabbed 11 little girls, killing 3. The other is an actor in a Netflix series. Guess which one prompted a much needed national conversation about toxic males, dangerous influences, and knife crime in the UK. 2 months ago, you rejected a national inquiry into child rape gangs that have destroyed the lives of hundreds of thousands of English girls because perpetrators weren't white. Today, you're showing a fictional villain in every school because the perpetrator is a white boy. People were watching a different show to me. Clearly, it was well made, but I don't see how it's of enough educational value or how kids are going to sit through much of it. Don't stab people with knives isn't a message that requires 4 hours of viewing. I mean, this is the thing. This is what it always comes down to. This is why I balked yesterday at James Lindsay being like, oh, we just need more PragerU videos to stem the rising tide of anti-Semitism. It's all teach men not to rape. It's always the same thing. Oh, we have a massive like knife crime problem in the UK. It's almost exclusively non-whites who are committing the knife crime. I know. Let's make a video that shows people not to stab people. How fucking dumb do you have to be to think that's going to do anything? North Korea has a more legitimate government than this. Anyway, I'm gonna have to watch this show though at some point. Get around to. I know they mention Andrew Tate in the show as being like the kid who does the stabbing. He's like a fan of Andrew Tate or whatever. So they're like, oh, kids will watch this show and then they'll know not to watch Andrew Tate so they don't end up stabbing somebody. It never really works, man. Kids don't look at shit the same way because they're not wise enough to understand. I remember being like a high school kid watching like shows like Train Spotting and thinking, holy fuck, drugs are so cool and fun. You know what I mean? I'd watch Train Spotting and I'd be like, dude, I can't wait to try more hard drugs. It looks so cool. Like you romanticize it when you're a teenager because you're stupid. I go back and watch Train Spotting in my late 30s and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm so glad I don't do that shit anymore, you know? I probably was a stupid kid in all fairness. I was already into drugs. Probably I'd already started smoking weed by the time I saw Train Spotting. But watching the movie as an adult, it does not make it look cool at all. So there's kids just don't get it, man. They don't understand that the downside when they're looking at it's like the way you think you're invincible and you don't think about your own, all that shit. Like kids just can't wrap their head around that, like the seriousness of life, basically. You probably show like 13-year-old black kids a show like this and they think it's cool that the guy stabs, right? A 13-year-old black kid watching Adolescence is probably looking at the kid doing the stabbing the same way I was looking at Ewan McGregor shooting heroin and then sinking down into his carpet while Perfect Day plays by what's his name, Lou Reed. Like Lou Reed's Perfect Day is playing and you're sinking down into the carpet in bliss. And I'm like a 13-year-old kid being like, fuck, that looks cool. 13-year-old black kid in the UK watching the white kid stab somebody. He probably thinks, man, he's really asserting himself. You know what I mean? Georgia dad arrested after leaving his kids 1, 6, and 10 alone at McDonald's to attend a job interview. Lisa Elizabeth with the interesting take here. She says, I don't care what anyone says. This dude was trying. He should have never been arrested if he was really at a job interview. You help this man. You don't make it harder on his family. And maybe McDonald's wasn't the best idea, but don't act like 10-year-olds haven't been babysitting 6- and 1-year-olds from the dawn of time. It doesn't happen often now, but it sure did 100 years ago. Yeah, maybe at home, in the safety and familiarity of your home. You don't leave your 1-year-old kid attended by a 10-year-old. I understand the inclination to be sympathetic for a person who was trying to get a job. I understand the bar for black people is so low that we're all supposed to be impressed that this guy went to a job interview. I get that part of it. But surely you could have planned it better than this. You don't know anybody who can watch the kids for you while you're gone for an hour. And what's your plan going to be when you get a job? Anyway. Also, all these white people who say shit like a 10-year-old was enough to babysit in the 70s and 80s. I was babysitting newborns at 12. You know, respectfully, you are white. It doesn't just transpose, okay? A 12-year-old white girl is not the same as a 12-year-old black girl, you guys. It's not the same. Do you understand how IQ works? Do you understand how averages work? An undercover investigator posing as a pimp asked a Planned Parenthood manager how soon a child slave could return to work after an abortion. They still got to make money, you know. Planned Parenthood waist up.
And then a question. If it comes down that they do need an abortion, how long till they can be sexually active again?
Minimum 2 weeks.
Minimum 2 weeks.
Minimum 2 weeks.
Do you maybe have any suggestions about what else they could do in the time?
I mean, they still got to make money, you know?
Yeah, waist up.
Waist up.
Waist up.
Oh, so waist up is like, what is that? Like you can fuck my tits? What is that? I use my mouth, I guess. Sorry for being vulgar.
Okay. Or just be that extra action.
And then
just be that extra action walking by. You're just gonna have to give some handies and some BJs while you wait for your abort. Fucking Jesus, man. Okay, here's the other thing that pisses me off about going back to the adolescence video and this idea. We saw Joel Berry saying it too, like a month ago or whatever. This, about how, oh, well, people need to be instilled with the right values. That's the problem. It's not that all these people coming over are not, white. It's that we're not vetting them for the proper values, and they need to have the proper values instilled and blah, blah. And it's like, and so then people like that think like, oh, well, we just need to show kids PragerU videos or show them Netflix shows, show them Netflix propaganda, play the When They See Us, the Central Park 5 Netflix show, and then they won't be racist. And it's like, you live in a society, a culture that tells teenage girls if they get pregnant, they should kill their own child so they don't have to deal with it. How are you going to instill the right values in anybody in that kind of cultural environment? This is where that leads to, is where that environment leads to a Planned Parenthood, Planet Fitness employee at Planned Parenthood saying, just give BJs and HJs until you've recovered from your abortion and then go back to having sex for money. Ashley St. Clair was on camera with the Daily Mail selling her Tesla because Elon Musk has cut her child support by 60%, according to her. There's no way she doesn't call the media to bring that, right? It's so funny, this whole please respect our privacy shit she did, which was her way of telling everybody she had Elon's baby. And then ever since that, it's just been an ongoing media tour with this chick. And so here she is getting interviewed by the Daily Mail, who somehow knew that she was going to sell her Tesla, which was a gift from Elon Musk, as you may have guessed.
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
The worldwide privacy tour. Yeah. Ashley St. Clair, the worldwide privacy tour.
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
When was the last time that you used
That's his modus op. So, hold on. So she says he cut off. Let me go back to the beginning here. I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut.
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of like vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
That's his modus operandi. Okay. It is obviously Ashley St. Clair's modus operandi to try to constantly create media spectacles to embarrass and humiliate Elon Musk out of spite. As we're going to see, Elon on Twitter said that he gave Ashley St. Clair $2.5 million, you know, and that's in, like, not including gifts like this $100,000 car, and that he's agreed to like $500,000 a year child support, which works out to about $42,000 a month of child support. $42,000 a month in child support. And it's not super clear if he was giving 60% more before that, although that does kind of track with the 2.5 million, right? So the kid's not a year old. The kid is not a year old, and she's gotten 2.5 million. So probably after she started making these spectacles, he said, you know what? I'm going to cut it down to a reasonable amount. I'm only going to give you 42,000 a month. I know, it's so sad. How will she survive? And so then she's like pissed off, and she's like, oh, I know what I'll do.
Betrayed $3. Who would have guessed girls love attention?
Yeah, who would have guessed? Thank you, Betrayed. She's like, I'm going to make a big spectacle out of selling the car he gave me. Like I'm this struggling single mom just trying to make ends meet. And I'm going to have the media come here. And then I'm going to say, Elon forced my hand by cutting off my child support. He's vindictive. It's his modus operandi. This is what happens when an empowered, independent female speaks out against him. He's a sexist. I'm not a feminist. I'm a right winger. I'm not a feminist, everybody, but I'm just saying this is how he treats women.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th.
But he's just not responding to you at all. And how would you characterize the way that he's going about?
You can check
She's not all that, brother. Wait until we get to the side profile.
the stocks. I'm not the only one who's speaking up after his message.
Right, so now she's saying, I don't know, implying that like he's incompetent because Tesla stock has gone down.
You can check the stocks. I'm not the only one who's speaking up after his message.
We're not going to get you.
What an ungrateful bitch, man. She's like left Twitter, by the way. I looked at her Twitter account. We'll finish the video and we'll get to that. But she hasn't been tweeting for like the last 6 weeks. And she's going to have a really hard time ever coming back to Twitter because everybody hates her now, basically. Like basically everybody sees her for what she is. Everybody is saying,
very interesting. One more observation in my Jew log.
well, that wasn't much left in that video to finish. Okay, so
I'm selling it because
then Milo tweeted this. He says, that conk, That hooter, that fucking snorkel. And that's just the side profile of Ashley St. Clair there. So always get the side profile before you start talking about how hot some chick is. Say, just turn your head to the side first. I just want to check something. I just need to check something. Laura Loomer says, gold digger and professional gaslighter St. Clair Ashley was caught on camera. Yeah, caught, I'm sure. Outside of her ritzy Manhattan condo paid for by her sugar daddy Elon Musk, selling her $100,000 Tesla she said was gifted to her by Elon during their romantic relationship. She said she's selling it to make up for $100,000 in alleged cuts to her child support. She took a jab at Elon, telling people to check the Tesla stock, adding, I'm not the only one cleaning up after Elon's messes. After Ashley, as I reported, has hired anti-Trump lawyers to sue Elon Musk, he was ordered by the court to take a paternity test. This is, like I was saying, her Twitter account where she has been inactive since Valentine's Day, that was the day she broke this news, right? Valentine's Day was the day she chose to tell everybody that she had a baby, and she didn't come after Musk in that initial post. She was like, oh, the media is coming after me, and so I'm just going to get out ahead of it and let everybody know. Please respect our privacy. And then she goes on to give an interview in the New York Times the next day. Just shameless. Elon replies to Laura Loomer and says, I don't know.
Bliss Chillin sent $3, no longer enough child support for the upcoming rhinoplasty.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Bliss Chilling. I don't know if the child is mine or not, but am not against finding out. No court order is needed. Despite not knowing for sure, I have given Ashley $2.5 million and am sending her $500K a year. Nolly Mutant says I'm pregnant. Exactly. She didn't need to sell her car. That was a publicity stunt. But she's clearly like a woman scorned. Oh, is this Ashley? Oh, so she has been somewhat active on Twitter, just only in the replies. Elon, we asked you to confirm paternity through a test before our child, who you named, was even born. You refused, and you weren't sending me the money. You were sending support for your child. Oh God, they always do this. I pay child support. I've heard this from my baby mama. It's not for me. It's for the kid. Let's see the receipts. Let's just see the receipts of how you're spending all that money. Does the kid need to live in a Manhattan penthouse? And do you not also benefit from living in a Manhattan penthouse, Ashley? It's not for, don't say it's for me, it's for the kid. You are sending support for your child that you thought was necessary until you withdrew most of it to maintain control and punish me for disobedience. Yeah, you're on a short leash there, only $42K a year. God, she's so unlikable. Nobody feels sorry for you, man. A $500K salary for being a mom. No one feels bad for you. It's ironic that your last effort in court was to try to gag me while you use a social media channel you literally own to distribute derogatory messages about me and our child to the entire world. It's all about control with you, and everyone can see it. America needs you to grow up, you petulant man-child. I agree Elon needs to grow up, but I think everybody can see something about you, Ashley St. Clair. Let's check the replies and see if these are like largely supportive to her here. This is the first post in the upcoming obvious swing to the left-wing grift. You got 2.5 million plus 500K a year and are complaining.
The gay joker sent $3. I bombed a hospital in Gotham for less than 30K once. This bitch is greedier than Catwoman. They broke the one rule. NLE girls.
Thank you, gay joker. There's no child on Earth that needs $500,000 a year in support. I hope Elon moves to Mars to avoid paying you anything. You don't need 2.5 million and 500K to raise a child. Miss St. Clair, I remember a moment when I wrote a note to a prospective nanny under much stress because I was taking care of a baby mostly by myself at the time, and the nanny said no thanks despite being late in the negotiations. My husband back then reviewed the note and told me, when you are more rested, I'm going to show you this and you will understand exactly why the note scared the nanny off. I don't remember exactly what I typed, but I do remember typing something about my cat's arthritis. You have a 5 to 8 month old? This is exactly the most tiring, most helpless, most ungiving time in your life as a parent. If you've been doing this all alone, you haven't gotten a wink of sleep for many months going on. She does look skinny in the video, Ashley. She does look skinny for somebody who gave birth very recently. But, you know, I'm sure you can hire a nanny when you're getting $42K a month. It will not get better until the baby's about 2 years old.
I keep forgetting that you are Canadian until you say sorry. It's pretty hilarious. God bless all.
Thank you for the $5. Yeah, people say that when I say about as well. When I say about like an American. Is that how you say it? Anyway. Seems like a really nice lady there, data Republican. You really sold your Tesla even though it was a gift, just like all the other leftist lunatics. Anyway, I pray when your 15 minutes is over, you are arrested and jailed. Throw me a few billy, Elon. Oy vey. Yeah, no one's on your side here, Ashley. The only person who isn't shitting on you completely is Data Republican, who seems like a literal saint, that lady. All right. The good news is the silver lining in all of this is I don't think Ashley St. Clair is really going to be able to come back to Twitter. She's just so hated. So I guess that's the silver lining. JF says, this is way too much money, Elon. The problem at this point is you're funding a hostile woman who wants to participate to anti-Tesla and anti-Elon memes. It's like the U.S. funding Osama bin Laden. I'd cut it down 95%, let her starve a bit until her attitude changes. I looked up the cap in, so she's in New York and he's in Texas. So it's probably New York courts that this is going through, I would assume. 183,000. So, that's income cap. That's not support cap. This is the AI though, so I don't really trust it, but pretty safe to say So the formula multiplies the party's combined parental income up to 183K, and then 17% of that. So it's not 183K per year cap or per month cap or whatever. It's capped at 3 times 17%. So it would be that, and then, is that right? Seems high. Then divided by 12. So 2.5K a month is what she's like legally entitled to, probably. I don't know. This isn't legal advice, but that's what it looks like based off of my 3 seconds of research. So JF is telling Elon to just pay the minimum till she changes her attitude. Probably not the worst advice. All right, moving on. Tesla protest organizer Indivisible. Okay, so that's the name of the protest organizer. Funny name for a protest. Indivisible. Deleted a web page promising $200 reimbursements for anti-Trump Musk protests. So these people are still getting paid to go out and chant their stupid little fucking chants and slogans. Indivisible's Musk or us. I guess Indivisible, but it's Musk or us. Reimbursement program. Each Indivisible group can request up to $200 per congressional recess for their actions engaging their elected representatives. Keep your itemized receipts and invoices from your purchases. Even with USAID gone, pay attention to the fine print. Indivisible, registered 501c, hybrid political action committee, whatever. All right, Charlie Kirk. And this is Michael Knowles' wife, who I find annoying on Twitter. I like Michael Knowles. I find his wife pretty annoying. She says, why are noticers so bad at research? Charlie Kirk explains the Talmud to a clueless kid.
To read some verses from the Talmud.
You got to be, okay, so that's fine. I do want to wrap this up. However, can you tell me what the Talmud is?
It's it's like the most important book in rabbinic Judaism.
Yeah, so not totally true. So the Torah is the most important, followed by the Tanakh. Tanakh stands for Torah, Nivalim, right, and Kvetchim, which is the Torah, the writings, and the prophets. TNK, that's where you get Tanakh from.
Kirk has definitely been like fed talking points on all this shit by his Jewish handlers.
And then after the
trade sent $3. Women like Ashley St. Clair are the real reason the birth rate is so low.
I mean, maybe part of it, but I think that there's just too many fucking people. I think the main reason is because there's too many fucking people. There's more people than there's supposed to be. That's what I think.
Tanakh comes the Talmud. Now, how many Talmuds are there?
I'm not exactly
There's
sure.
two. There's the Babylonian and the Jerusalem Talmud. Now, for every verse that you're about to read from the Talmud, and I'll give you a chance to do it.
That's not a antinatalist statement, by the way. I'm not antinatalist. I'm antinatalist for, well, I don't need to say it.
It's probably going to be about, Christ burning in a thing of excrement. There are debates with rabbis in the following verses of them disagreeing. The Talmud is basically a bunch of Jews fighting for 2,000 pages. So it is not necessarily considered to be canonical or authoritative.
So this is a common counter that you get whenever you bring up the Talmud. They say, "Oh no, it's just a debate, bro, and everybody disagrees, and so none of it really means anything because it's just a bunch of people giving their opinions. None of it is canonical in Judaism." Keith Wood says, Charlie Kirk says that the passages in the Talmud about Jesus burning in excrement are followed by pages of rabbis disagreeing. He is just making this up. Yeah, because he knows you haven't read the Talmud, so he knows if he says that, you're not going to be able to counter it. Jesus is said to be in hell boiling in excrement, where he is named as one of the 3 arch enemies of Judaism. This is not presented as just one minor opinion inside a debate, as Kirk suggests. The Talmud also claims Mary was an adulteress and Jesus was the illegitimate child of a Roman soldier. In multiple cases, it says Jesus was a practitioner of black magic and sexually promiscuous. Kirk has obviously been fed the "it's just a series of debates" as a stock response to any mention of the Talmud, but the passages about Jesus are consistent and one-sided. This is from Jesus in the Talmud by Peter Schaefer. The most bizarre of all the Jesus stories is the one that tells how Jesus shares his place in the netherworld with Titus and Balaam, the notorious arch enemies of the Jewish people. Whereas Titus is punished for the destruction of the temple by being burned to ashes, reassembled, and burned over and over again, and whereas Balaam is castigated by sitting in hot semen, Jesus' fate consists of sitting forever in boiling excrement. This obscene story has occupied scholars for a long time without any satisfactory solution. I will speculate that it is again the deliberate and quite graphic answer to a New Testament claim. This time, Jesus' promise that eating his flesh and drinking his blood guarantees eternal life to his followers. Understood this way, the story conveys an ironic message. Not only did Jesus not rise from the dead, he's punished in hell forever. Accordingly, his followers, the blossoming church, which maintains to be the new Israel, are nothing but a bunch of fools misled by a cunning deceiver. Sounds like an interesting book here. The most prominent characteristics that dominate quite a number of the rabbinic stories is sex, more precisely sexual promiscuity. Sexual promiscuity is already presented as the foundation story of the Christian sect. Its hero is the son of a certain Miriam and her lover Pandera, a mamzer born out of wedlock. A bastard. The legal status of the bastard is defined in the Bible as such. No bastard shall be admitted into the congregation of the Lord, even to the 10th generation shall he not be admitted into the congregation of the Lord. A fate that he shares with the eunuchs and the Ammonites and Moabites. He's excluded from the congregation of Israel for the foreseeable future. His adulterous mother deserves, according to biblical and rabbinical law, the death penalty of stoning or strangulation, as the Bible decrees for our case, the adultery between a married woman and her lover. If a man is found lying, yeah, blah, 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 it's Old Testament stuff. Weasel your way into the pants of the world's richest man. No Jews on Mars. Oh, we can only hope. We can only hope. Okay. Moving on, Billy Mitchell has won a years-long lawsuit against a YouTuber by the name of Carl Jobst. Billy Mitchell, as some of you may know, was in a movie called The King of Kong, a documentary about 2 people vying for the title of the greatest Donkey Kong player. It's a very good documentary if you've never seen it. I really love King of Kong. There's another one called Chasing Ghosts that features a lot of the same characters. I can't remember which one of the 2 it is, but there's one where like Billy Mitchell comes out in sunglasses in slow motion and it's playing "You're the Best Around, Nothing's Ever Gonna Bring You," and it's like so funny. But Billy Mitchell, if you haven't seen the movie, he's like the antagonist of the story. The reason King of Kong is such a great documentary is because it weaves this narrative of these two people going head to head. One's like a shitty lying cheater. That's Billy Mitchell. And then the other is like this nice family guy, kind of meek, but like just wants to be the best at one thing in his life. And he chose Donkey Kong. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movie, Billy Mitchell like wins in the end. It's a movie where the villain wins. And so it kind of leaves you like feeling unsatisfied in that way because you're rooting for the other guy, Steve Weeb. Anyway, because that movie, King of Kong, became like a cult classic film, YouTubers made a bunch of video essays about Billy Mitchell being a giant piece of shit, right? That's what you do on YouTube. You make video essays about giant pieces of shit, and then everybody watches it and gets to feel better about themselves. But Carl Jobst here, he went a little too far. He didn't just like accuse Billy Mitchell of being a cheater at video games and all that shit. He accused Billy Mitchell of causing somebody else's suicide, another YouTuber who committed suicide. And Carl Jobst said Billy Mitchell made that guy kill himself. So Billy Mitchell sued him for defamation. And now a lot of people are pissed off at Carl Jobst because a lot of people are just learning now for the first time that this lawsuit wasn't about cheating at video games, but something entirely completely different. But Carl Jobst kind of misrepresented this to his audience when he was doing his fundraising and his GoFundMe and all this. But after a years-long battle, Billy Mitchell won the defamation suit. He was awarded around $250K US. It was like $400K Australian or something like that. Plus legal fees, which is another like several hundred. So Carl Jobst is probably out like $400,000 or $500,000 for this. So this is a video from 10 months ago about how they're finally going to trial.
A bit of war of
I want to go
Donkey
back
Kong
through
has-
some of the history of this because I find this whole thing interesting, especially as a YouTuber. Man, YouTubers never think they're going to get sued for defamation, much less lose a lawsuit. But this shit can happen to you, man, and it can be life ruining. Carl Jobst's Asian wife is probably going to leave him now. Oh no. Oh, you hate to see it. You got to be careful what you say out there, man. You know, I'm just waiting for one of these motherfuckers with money to like make a video about how I got caught trying to get nudes from minors or whatever. I'm just waiting for somebody with money to put that shit out there. And then I'm going to get paid like Billy Mitchell.
Exploded with controversy over a high score, making it all the way to a Queensland courtroom. An American video game champion is suing a Brisbane YouTuber over cheating claims.
Hello, you absolute legend.
Jeets already do. Yeah, but the Jeets don't have any money. That's the problem. I need like Kino Casino to do it. Because also it's worth noting, this is an Australia court, right? It's harder to win a defamation case in the US. But if Kino Casino like calls me a pedophile, I'll take them to court in Canada. I'll take you to court where they don't have free speech protections.
As many of you know, back in 2021, con artist of the century Billy Mitchell sued me for defamation, claiming damages of almost $500,000. For almost 3 years, this ridiculous lawsuit has dragged on, and for the past year, I've been desperately trying to get a trial date as soon as possible. The sooner we can go to trial, the sooner this will all be over and we can all move on. But every step of the way, Billy has been doing everything in his power to delay trial as much as possible. You would think it would be the opposite way. Billy is the plaintiff. He's the one that's supposed to be desperate for the court.
Oh, by the way, I just remembered, and I need to say this before I forget, because I'll definitely forget, but there was a $20 super chat on Entropy this morning. They don't have timestamps on here. It like came in like while the intro song was playing, I think. Anyway, this is from Virtuous Straight, and it says, "The Soul of Chivalry is a new documentary based on the writings of Julius Evola. Set in the Middle Ages of Europe, the film takes the viewer back to medieval times when the Knights of Legend saw warfare as central to the transcendent quest. Watch it now at soulofchivalry.com. Use coupon code HYPOCRITE for a 20% discount." So there you go. Soul of Chivalry, soulofchivalry.com, and code HYPOCRITE for 20% off. It's funny, like you can, like, super chats are like such a easy way to get an ad read. Nor if somebody came to me and asked me to like do a read like that, I'd be like, hey, that'll be like, you know, $150, $200, whatever. You could just do a super chat for $20 and I'll read it. That movie is by Philosophicat, by the way, and I watched it actually yesterday, funnily enough.
$3. Carl's content is lifeless. Reads his videos off a monotonous script. Don't understand how anyone could trust Carl when his content is so vapid. He is just as much of a grifter as Billy is, and he admitted to cheating in the past himself. He's a hypocrite.
Well, I don't know about all that, the cheating stuff, but thank you for the $3. Yeah, most YouTubers are bad people, in case you didn't know. I will say, though, well, this is kind of a tangent, but okay. Twitter is going to shit. We all know it. It's getting taken over by Jeets, who are gaming the system to get the Twitter payouts. And I think, and I've been talking, like, I don't like YouTube. There's nothing good to watch on YouTube, and it's been that way kind of for like several years. But I think there's going to be like a return to YouTube as Twitter continues going to shit. As the jeetoning continues, YouTube is going to like regain a more prominent place in social media for people like me, because as a user, I'm talking about, because Twitter is like, it's so low effort to make money there. You know what I mean? So the Jeets go where it's lowest effort, highest payout, just trying to make a quick buck. That's actually kind of like Twitter, because you don't need the amount of effort to make a YouTube video is like years beyond what it takes to just ram out tweets. In fact, the whole tweet thing can be automated by AI very easily. And so as the internet gets shittier and shittier and more third world, there's going to be a little bit more value placed on like high effort, long form content that is good. Anyway, but check out Philosophicat's movie, soulofchivalry.com. Everything I know about Julius Evola, I know from watching Philosophicat videos.
To step in and to give him a resolution. But no, he's the one always running away. In fact, he got so bad that even Australian news outlets were reporting on the fact that Billy was saying he couldn't attend trial when we were asking him to. However, thankfully, a trial date has recently been set by the judge. As it stands, Billy and I will be going to trial starting September 16, and the trial is scheduled for 6 days. This is only 4.
Musk said that he's linking earnings to country of origin. Yeah, so here's the interesting thing, not to like keep ranting about Jeets on Twitter, but the way the payouts work is also highly incentivizing Indians to go all in on Twitter, because the way it works in an ad-driven world like YouTube is that people who are watching your shit in India and getting shown ads, those ads are worth pennies on the dollar. Advertisers don't want to show ads to Jeets in India. They want to show ads to white men and women in America. So to make money on YouTube, you want and need an American audience. and a Western European audience, but an American one first and foremost, which is very hard to do when you have a Punjabi accent and a 75 IQ, right? But you can go on Twitter, throw up a Greek Roman statue and call yourself Soul of the West and start tweeting about how, Western civilization, and this is what they do. This is what they do, and then they make good payouts because it's not ad driven over there. So, yeah, soul of the West star. So Elon has to figure out how to deal with this. Everybody in America is begging Elon, please, just like put India in a walled garden. Okay, we don't want to see their shit. We don't want to interact with them. Let them have their own little Twitter universe, and never the two shall meet. Okay. But Elon's like disincentivized from doing that because it's all engagement is good engagement from Twitter's point of view. Basically, all time spent on the app is good time. So him saying that you're only going to get paid if people in your country look at your shit, that's going to be in a way bad for everybody. Like that is probably going to result in everybody's payments going down. I'm not sure. It's complicated, but it's going to be especially bad for people who aren't in America. I'll tell you that right now.
Months away, and personally, I cannot wait. This has already gone on far too long, and is a huge waste of everyone's time and money, but it does look like we will get a resolution pretty soon.
Keep Europe in America. Well, this is what I've been saying too, is that as this third worldification of the internet continues and everything just turns into an endless stream of slop from people who are trying to get paid for your attention, you're going to see small elite social media sites that verify people's identity, and all of these people who have been bragging so much about how like only anons are worth listening to and my most valued thing is my anonymity, everyone's going to flock to these elite paywalled social media sites that make like it'll be like, oh, I want a site for like white Americans. You know what I mean? So there's gonna be a website that's gonna like verify that you're a white American, and if you're not a white American, you're not gonna be able to use the site. And people are gonna flock to shit like that so that they can have high quality conversations and interactions and not worry about not just Jeets but bots and AI spam.
Which is great news. Now, when I announced this on Twitter, a lot of people had questions. Is it possible that me and Billy will settle before trial? Billy settled with Twin Galaxies earlier this year, and everyone hated that. Is it possible I might do the same? Everyone wants to see Billy lose, but is he going to just wriggle his way out once again? What will happen if...
I'm kind of becoming a Billy Mitchell fan. Everybody wants to see Billy lose. That's like, yeah, you're supposed to hate this guy. I don't know, man. You gotta respect a guy that keeps winning, even if he is kind of a piece of shit. But at some point, you just gotta say, you know what? I respect the game. I respect the skills to just consistently keep coming out on top.
Billy loses. Will there be any repercussions? What happens if he wins? In this video, I will answer these questions. Plus, we will take a quick look at a few of the things we will be arguing about in court. And some of the things Billy is trying to claim are insane. For example, and I swear to God this is real, Billy is trying to claim that he was never banned from Twin Galaxies for cheating. Yes, the guy who was banned from Twin Galaxies for cheating and sued Twin Galaxies for $10 million because they banned him for cheating is claiming in his lawsuit against me that he was never banned from Twin Galaxies for cheating. The lies never stop, and this is why trial is going to be so exciting. All of this will go before the judge, and it will be epic. Or, as I asked before...
Weren't that excited while you were listening to the verdict, I bet.
Will Billy be able to weasel his way out? Let's find out. I really hope you enjoy. Now, legends, we are all huge Billy Mitchell fans here, and I know most of you are wondering, how on earth does Billy maintain such beautiful hair and skin? Well, I don't know Billy's secret for sure, so I can only assume it's because he's defending yourself, and when you win, you get absolutely nothing. This is why in America, settling is a very tempting resolution, and this is why Twin Galaxies decided to settle. It was just...
I can't imagine caring about the... I know, man. I know. I was like interacting with like a little bit of Dark Side Phil content on Twitter the other, because I was like covering that a little bit. And then I kept getting, because the way it works is the algorithm's so sensitive. You like interact with a couple things and you get shown like 100 times. I got all this Dark Side Phil content fed into my page. I had to start muting all these accounts. Like, I don't fucking care about this guy, man. Why does anybody?
A lot cheaper. In Australia, things are different. Here, almost always, the loser is ordered to pay the court costs of the winner. I'm pretty confident that I'm going...
This is interesting from a legal aspect. As a YouTuber, the consequences of saying the wrong thing are very real. So it's not so much about gaming shit. It's about the legal aspect of being a YouTuber.
Going to win. So from my perspective, it seems silly to settle because I believe I will be successful and I believe that Billy will be ordered to pay back most of my costs. It's not 100% of my costs, however. The judge can award standard costs or indemnity costs. Standard cost is more common and usually the winning party would get back around 60 to...
I just said the legal aspect is interesting, but I don't need you to like read the fucking statutes to me. Anyway, let's move on. So this was his most recent video about Billy Mitchell called, from 3 months ago, Cheater Billy Mitchell Just Keeps Losing. People have already started throwing up videos about him. This YouTuber just lost everything in court. Carl Jobst lawsuit. There's Billy laughing. How Billy Mitchell won and Carl Jobst lost. 1 minute, 18 seconds. Wow, somebody who actually knows how to just say what I want to know.
Billy Mitchell won his most recent lawsuit against Carl Jobst. Carl is ordered to pay 395,000 Australian dollars. The subject of this third lawsuit has nothing to do with Billy's cheating in Donkey Kong. As I believed initially, the judge outright stated so. This defamation trial was purely in regards to Carl accusing Mitchell of financial...
Just watch the judge's full summary of the case and facts, and I have to say, as someone who has probably watched 7+ videos of Jobst that talked about the lawsuit, until now I was under the impression he was being sued for his coverage of Billy's cheating. So I mentioned this already, but so there's a big backlash coming against Carl Jobst because so many people watched this guy's videos and thought it was all about cheating at video games. What's the psychology behind shrewd speed? I don't know. Then isn't there some quote about how speed running is degenerate? I don't know. I don't really know. I don't get it. All I can tell you is speed running has never really appealed to me, not in any kind of serious competitive way. Doing it, watching it, none of it appeals to me, but I guess I can kind of understand why it would appeal to some people. Anyway, this is going to be very bad for Carl Jobst. Not only is he losing all this money, but everybody's going to be mad at him now because he sort of misled everybody about what was going on here. Carl Jobst was being sued for statements about Billy suing Apollo legend into offing himself.
SakuLP.
Thank you. Thank you for the $10. Appreciate it. Not much. He not only published once with no knowledge of Apollo's settlement, but republished after being told by Billy, Keemstar, and Billy's lawyer that all his comments about Apollo were false.
Financially ruining Apollo legend, which caused his untimely passing. Contrary to popular belief, while Billy did sue Apollo, there were no financial stipulations. Apollo removed the videos and that was the end of their exchange. So when Carl said Billy financially caused Apollo's passing, this was proven false and he lost his case. To make it even worse, there is a clear sentiment that Carl misled...
So there you go. He said Billy Mitchell financially ruined this guy with a lawsuit, when really the lawsuit just said, take down your videos about me. So now this guy's out fucking like $500,000 because he said that. Obviously he made a decent amount of money off of all his videos, probably not 500,000, but I don't know. I don't know. What does a YouTuber with 1 million subs make? The thing is like, so your video got like 1 million views. It's not that much money, man. That's probably like, with a sponsorship and optimistically, maybe $30,000. So you would have to make like 15 videos with 1 million views to get to earn back your 500,000, give or take. That's optimistic.
Led his audience into believing this third trial was about Mitchell's cheating to crowdfund his legal fees. Now, Carl did apologize for blaming Mitchell, and he edited out the segments where he made the allegations initially. However, the judge deemed that method, it wasn't good enough, because he snuck the apology at the end of an unrelated video, and he never made a video directly referencing his error. I myself believe Mitchell financially ruined Apollo, but I was wrong. To be clear, the first 2 cases were in regards to Billy's cheating, and in both they settled out of court. I'm very sorry, the first lawsuit is still pending. The second one is the one that settled. My bad. However, Carl unfortunately did defame Billy in regards to his impact on Apollo's passing. As a fan of Carl Jobs, this kind of hurts to hear, but I would love to hear your opinion on it.
There you go. That's all you need. 60 seconds. That's all you need. People make 20-minute videos so they can get ad revenue. Just drag this shit out. Okay, anyway, let's take a little look at the last video from 3 months ago. Cheater Billy Mitchell just keeps losing.
All right, our next case is case number 2023-0432, Mitchell versus Race.
Hello, you absolute legends. This is Billy Mitchell's lawyer, and these are the justices of the Supreme Court of Florida. Billy is trying desperately to stop his ridiculous and frivolous lawsuit against the world's greatest Pac-Man player David Race from being thrown out, and Billy is going to fail. Billy is famous for suing or threatening to sue people who call him a
This guy does sue a lot of fucking people, man. I didn't mention this earlier, but if you know the story of Billy, he like started like a hot sauce empire, and he made a lot of money selling hot sauce, which again is just another thing that makes him kind of more likable. But I know you hear that a guy's going around suing everybody who talks shit, and you think he must be some kind of loser. But it's like, this is exactly what I would do if I was rich. If I was rich, I would literally sue everybody who looked at me the wrong way.
cheater. Everyone already knows this, but defamation lawsuits aren't the only stupid lawsuits he likes to file, and Billy's lawsuit against David Race is arguably his dumbest ever. Billy sued David Race back in April of 2021 because David recorded phone calls between him and Billy. David wasn't recording these calls because he had some evil scheme to expose Billy at some point or for nefarious reasons. He recorded them because he records all of his calls with everyone. David is a resident of Ohio, where you don't need the other person's consent to record your calls. What David did was normal and legal where he lives. In fact, when David recorded these calls, which occurred between 2018 and 2019, David and Billy were friends, and David was a vocal...
Yeah, when Jay and Silent Bob go and beat up the internet. Dude... Oh man, if I was rich and there was some way to just dox people for money and get their addresses, I would 100% go confront some people who talk shit in my comment section or whatever. Not beat them up, because that's going to get you into legal trouble, but basically just go and like get them on video and just like intimidate them into like some kind of meek apology, you know, and then post the video. These are the kind of things I fantasize about as a 44-year-old man who makes a living on YouTube.
Supporter of Billy. But at some point, after reviewing much of the evidence against Billy, David came to the rational conclusion that not only did Billy cheat, but Billy had been lying directly to him and using him as a pawn. After learning the truth that Billy is a con man, David then chose to help Twin Galaxies in their lawsuit against Billy by providing them with a recording of a phone call showing that Billy was the type of person to lie and trick people. Billy was pissed that David was now helping Twin Galaxies, so Billy did what Billy does when he is upset with someone. He sued him. Billy claimed that what
do they do if they were taught? Well, in my fantasy world, I would know I would know a lot about the people before I go to confront them. So I would just cherry pick the most pathetic haters. And then I would create a sort of illusion that everybody who hates me is a pathetic loser, because I would cultivate that by selecting the lowest men on the totem pole and going after them.
David did was illegal because Billy lives in Florida, where you do need consent to record calls. But that's just not how it works. It doesn't matter where Billy lives, it matters where David lives. And where David lives, it's totally legal. And the court agreed. In March of 2023, the appeal court dismissed the lawsuit, literally saying that what David did was legal and that Billy's lawsuit was offensive. But Billy's crusade against David knew no bounds, and he took—
By the way, speaking of troll, there was this viral video on Twitter. I didn't talk about it, but it was like it was one of those pedophile catchers. And it was like the pedophile that they caught was an 18-year-old kid, an 18-year-old dude who came to meet a 16-year-old chick. And the pedophile hunter like slaps him in the face. And everybody on Twitter is like, that's actually pretty normal. 18-year-old dudes and 16-year-old girls. That's not really what I think of when I think of a pedophile.
all the way to the Supreme Court.
Anyway, we don't need to watch this video. So they had live streamed the judgment, but then for some reason they took it down. They took the video down. It is on Kiwi Farm. Somebody uploaded it, but it's like 53 minutes. By the way, this 53 minutes is like as I believe just like the judge reading the verdict. An hour. So the judge's verdict took him like an hour to read.
On the Queensland Court's website.
That's how court is, by the way. This is why people say judges love to hear themselves talk. And that's why I was saying when I was watching Zelensky interrupting Trump, I was like, what Zelensky is doing, it's like you go to court and then you try to talk over the judge. Very, very bad idea. Anyway, this is Carl Jobs' most recent video, the Elon Musk cheating scandal from a month ago. And if you go and if you sort by like the newest comments, everyone's just shitting on him. God bless Donkey Kong, God bless Righteous Man, and God bless the gamer of the century, Billy Mitchell. Carl, the confirmed defamer. Imagine being such a loser. You give Billy Mitchell a win. You should get sued for scamming your own audience. Any money that you dents donated to Carl is now Billy's money. Cooked. The All-American Chad Billy Mitchell did it yet again and absolutely BTFO'd all Jobs cucks. How will they ever recover? Pay up, dummy. Ha ha ha. Bro managed to make Bill look good. What a deceptive little prick you are. So I guess y'all saw his post on Twitter too. You're boned. Pay up, Carl. You have to pay over $1 million in legal fees. I don't think it's that much, but I think it's probably around $250,000, which would make the total cost around $500,000. Let's see this one here. As someone who has been keeping up with Billy Mitchell cheating for almost a decade now, first with Apollo, then switched over to Carl when he took over, especially when Carl commented on Apollo's last community post saying, "Don't worry, guys, I won't back down." I'm extremely disappointed that this whole trial was misled to be about cheating, not defamation about Apollo. Carl definitely knew he was going to lose, yet tried to make us all believe it was about cheating at video games and that he would win. Totally misleading your audience, man. If you go and watch Billy's video regarding Carl, you can clearly see what the accusations were about. Yes, Billy Mitchell is a cheater, but he gave Carl a huge L on April Fool's Day. That will be hard to come back from. I hate Elon, but you should really look in the mirror. Wrecked. Just absolutely wrecked. So, thanks for lying about the case, scamming everyone out of cash and being an egotistical ass. Hello, you absolute scumbag. Funny thing is now, and this is the way YouTube works, man, is everybody's waiting for your fall. It's the rise and fall, and everybody's praying for the fall, because now a million YouTubers, you know, all the fucking turkey toms of the world, which is what Carl Jobst is. He's a turkey tom. They're all turkey toms. All the turkey toms are going to make videos now about the rise and fall of Carl Jobst. And it's going to be about how he misled the audience and he's a lying sack of shit. And so all the A-logging, all the hatred that was directed at Billy Mitchell is now coming your way, buddy. You reap what you sow. Everyone's hoping he gets divorced. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Anyway, speaking of divorce, wrapping up here for the day, Hulk Hogan got divorced. And this is the video of Hulk Hogan and his new wife eating popcorn in response to his crazy ex-wife's insane video she just released online. Is one of the funniest trolls of all time.
I don't know how that reflected onto me, but she cut me out too. I haven't talked to her for 7 years, almost 8 years now. And God bless Nick. He's still such a good boy. I've never put a Facebook post out like this with my ugly face and my crying face, but I have to be honest about what I went through in my marriage with Terry as Hulk Hogan and what it entailed and what it has.
This right here is why you never kill yourself, gentlemen. Never kill yourself. That Apollo guy, I don't know what his fucking story is, but killing yourself is retarded. He probably could have had a great life ahead of him, whatever he was going through. But when you're a guy and you're getting divorced, hey, Carl Jobst, if you're watching, and when you get divorced, don't kill yourself, dude. Don't do it. Yeah, it may seem at the time like things couldn't possibly be any worse, but you're a man, okay? You can just find a new, younger, hotter wife. And then, you know, I'm not saying you should be happy about getting divorced or whatever. I'm just saying it's not over. It's never over until it's over. So, right. And then watching your old hag, ugly wife breaking down on the internet and everyone's laughing at her. Okay. So don't do it. All right. That's the show for today. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back on Thursday with another show. So you guys enjoy the next couple of days. I'll see you later. Catch you on the flip side.